To get people excited about Boost Mobile's new nationwide 5G network, we're offering unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month.
Forever.
Even if you have a baby.
Even if your baby has a baby.
Even if you grow old and wrinkly and you start repeating yourself.
Even if you start repeating yourself.
Even if you're on your deathbed and you need to make one last call.
Or text.
Right, or text. The long-lost son you abandoned at birth.
You'll still get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile.
Forever!
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Forever!
With a VSP Individual Vision Plan, you're the one pulling the strings. Because taking care of your eye health after retirement comes with a lot of decisions that only you should make, like choosing how to save on the lens enhancements you need, the right name brand frames for your style, and choosing your eye doctor from the nation's largest independent doctor network. Even how you enroll is up to you. Make the best decisions for your vision at the eye doctor's office, retail locations, and online with VSP Individual Vision Plans.
Back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankle.
Throws. It is caught. Touchdown.
Drops back to goal. It's picked off. Touchdown.
Shotgun snap. Under pressure. Ball is straight.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
All right, you already know what time it is. It's Sunday night, and it's August 18, 2024. Welcome to the Mean Gene Show. And let me tell you, folks, it's going to get real here because we're getting closer to the start of the NFL season, week 2 of the preseason. But guess what? This guy's not really a guest because this guy followed me around in Las Vegas forever and a day, and he knows his stuff. He's one of the most successful podcasters out there doing sports. And he also won our fantasy football league last year. That's the Sports King Fantasy Football League. So he's here today, Jacob Meadows. What's up, Jacob?
What is up, Mean Gene? How have you been, man? It feels great to be here live in studio, brother.
Hey, it's good, man. I had to think twice about bringing you in here because, number one, you kicked everybody's ass in the fantasy football league, and I just don't like my enemies this damn close to me. But I had to bring you in here.
Dream Team adjacent, baby. I had to make a comeback. You needed me here, man, because as the reigning champ, I was ready to light that fire for you, because maybe you can give me a run for my money this year, man.
And money you did win, by the way, last year. You took
nice.
all of our money.
Oh.
Also, my man back there on the wheels and steels, my producer, AJ. AJ, how you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good. How about y'all?
We doing good. We noticed that when he let us in the building today, he was smiling because the Cowboys won.
He was real
the
proud
Cowboys
of the Cowboys
won week 2 of the preseason. Yeah,
it was a Super Bowl for
you
Trey
guys
Lance,
get
man.
You guys get individual championships, just like the Lakers got the in-season tournament champions. There's a week 2 banner that they're going to be hanging up in Dallas.
For everyone listening, when I walked in the building and talked about it, I told them it's just a preseason. So,
Okay. All right, AJ, man, we are ready to get down today. This is going to be a great show. Look, we got Jacob here. By the way, the name of Jacob's show is called The Coach's Quarter.
Yeah, I have my own personal production. We are the Coach's Quarters. It's the logo on my shirt today. Thank you all. Thank you for the shout out.
Hey,
thank you for anybody that tunes in.
Got you. So look here. Okay, so we're gonna get into week 2 of the preseason. We're gonna look at some of the games that were played on. I think this thing started Thursday night. You had one game. You had 13 yesterday. You had 2 yesterday. And then you got 2 tonight. As a matter of fact, I believe the 49ers and the Saints are about to kick off in Green Bay and Denver. So we'll get you caught up on that. But for the most part here, in this first segment, we definitely have to talk about the hottest damn team going into 2024. It's those Houston Texans, man.
Houston, let's go, baby.
My goodness. So look here. I just think one of the toughest things that DeMeco Ryans and that coaching staff is going to have is to trim that down to 53. When the first, second, third, fourth, fifth string defense, everybody scored a touchdown.
Man, they look so good. The Giants were just giving them the ball, man. So, it's difficult to trim your roster when everybody's showing out at a level that
exactly.
it's willing that they could start for 31 other teams in the league. And that's what it looks like now.
And it's a good thing you brought that up because, as we get next week is week 3, the final preseason games, and you hear a lot of coaches and GMs talk about this. Some teams will have a difficult time cutting players. Some will get. You can have only so many on the practice squad.
Sure.
But a lot of these guys know that they're playing for other teams.
Mm-hmm. The preseason's literally a highlight tape so that they can go. So it's a tryout so that everybody else can see what they can do, and it allows them to move on. So yeah, this is going to be one of the most interesting off seasons for not just off season but preseasons for the Houston Texans, because you're going to have to hope that talent gap shows itself so that you're able to trim the roster when everybody looked good in training camp. Everybody's looked good so far in the preseason.
After yesterday's game, I just got to know that coaching staff is like scratching their head trying to figure out, okay,
no kidding.
What is that third string really going to look like?
No joke.
You know,
yeah,
so.
Once he's up against real competition.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I know, but it was pretty good yesterday. So anyway, all right. As always, we like to let you know how you can watch the show, listen to the show. Of course, if you're driving around H-Town right now, you got us on 97.5. But if you're sitting at home, if you'd like seeing us, then you can always hop on YouTube.com. And we always like to wave for everybody out there. So, and we're also on Twitch, too. So anyway, how about this? So let's kind of just get into yesterday's game between the Texans and the Giants. I tell you what, so we talk about C.J. Stroud. Look like, he's going to be where he needs to be. How about 70,000 people at a preseason game?
At a preseason game?
Is that what?
That's nuts. H-Town's showing up this year, man. That's why those ticket prices went up.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. So the Texans 2-1 on the preseason, if you're keeping score, keeping the records, and they beat the Giants 28-10. And, it's nice to see some of the starters out there now, but I can tell you what, the Giants are in trouble. Daniel Jones, how the hell do you throw a pick six? And if a veteran quarterback like that, you think you're looking at a rookie quarterback would do that.
Yeah, reminiscent of Sam Darnold when all those reports are coming out that he was seeing ghosts on the field. It's like Daniel Jones is seeing ghosts. He's just looking people off that he's not supposed to be, and that pick was bad. And
that was first string offense against first string defense.
He was playing starter.
Right.
It's almost like this is a taste of what's to come for the Giants this season, and you have to press the panic button if you're a Giants fan. But as a Texans fan, things feel real good right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a great game yesterday. And you look at, how about Devin Singletary made his way back into town?
Hey, and he looked
a guy that I had on my fantasy team last year.
Yeah, but I had him on one of my other fantasy teams last year. Yeah, I like Devin Singletary. I liked him in Houston. I liked that he got some work against us, and he didn't look terrible. But I don't think that he's going to be enough to save the Giants.
I think the Giants got some serious problems. But look, the Texans scored in every quarter except the third, which it didn't really matter. But, that defense, how many touchdowns did the defense?
The defense had 2 touchdowns that game,
goodness.
right?
Yeah, I think it was 2. Look, some of the passes that Darryl Stingley Jr., oh, my goodness. I knew when they drafted this kid it was going to be something special. And now that we moved Jalen Petrie back to the nickel, and a position that he is a lot more comfortable in, and I think that we're going to see a lot more Jalen Petrie moves like we did against the Giants where he had an interception. Like I think it's really going to be able to unlock his ability to play in this defense because he seemed out of scheme prior, and moving into the nickel is going to put him somewhere where he's a lot more comfortable, Mean Gene. So I think that's going to be a big thing for the Texans this season. I think what people like to see in the preseason, especially when you make the decision that you're going to put your starters out there, I think they want to see what they saw in the Texans yesterday, to be able to move the ball downfield on an opening possession, just like you just picked up from last year.
Yeah.
Those were the expectations, and that's what the fans got to see.
No regression. The fans got to see that, maybe there's not a sophomore slump for Stroud, or maybe the sophomore slump's not going to be as large as it may have been for other quarterbacks previously. You get to get a feel for what that first team offense is going to be capable of doing, even if it's on the bad days. Like preseason, you don't have a lot of practice. You don't have a lot going on yet. You're not, real games against other teams outside of joint practices. So when you see that first team offense able to move the way that they are, it gives you an understanding, a view.
I mean, they get down there, they don't score, but then Daniel Jones makes it. Then you get to see the defensive side of things.
And you get to see how they capitalize on a good situation, and that's what they did against the Giants.
Yeah, so, it's just got to be an interesting decisions that are coming up here, with this team here. I believe it's August 27th, they have to get down to 53. So got a little bit of time. I think they trim some down next week. But getting down to, because they start with like 90-something, so you got to get all the way down to 53. It may not be that difficult, but, man, I just think they're probably going to be left. I have no doubt that the 53 final players are going to all would have earned those positions, especially, well, your first and second is locked in, but those other complementary players, including your practice team.
Absolutely. Running back's definitely a position I would watch with that, because you have Derek Goombawale, Damian Pierce, and Cam Akers all fighting for that next up role behind Joe Mixon right now.
We want Goombawale to kick field goals.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I hope a Goombawale stays around literally just because he saved the field goals.
He knows he's got a job, don't he?
He's a special. He can kick.
Yeah.
He's an alternate kicker if need be. So
that was crazy.
That was nuts, wasn't it? Like, we had Justin Reed doing it for us back, before Justin Reed left, and now we have a Goombawale doing it. It's nice to have that player that can do more than one thing, right?
Quite interesting. Hey, so if you like what you saw yesterday from your Houston Texans, give us a call. 713-780-3776. We'll take your call and talk Texans throughout the show. Now in the second hour, we're going to be getting into something that I think it's probably been done on radio. It's definitely been done on the Mean Gene show and our Sports Kings sister show, and that's our live NFL draft while we are on the air. Now, things are going to get really crazy in that second hour. So, because one of us might get caught not paying attention because no one wants – look here, everyone's after Jacob here because he wins the league. And, AJ, you might have to, talk to you might have to take over on the mic, man, because when it comes time for me to pick, I got to get this right. I finished in 10th place the first year.
10th?
Last year, it was 8th place. I mean, so I'm taking a chance coming on air making picks because, hell, I might be out of the league before we leave the show today.
Just needs a little bit of help. Just a little bit of help leg up on us.
Well, I got a nugget. I do have a nugget. I got an edge. And I know that our Sports Kings Fantasy Football League guys are watching, and they're probably already talking trash, some of the things that they say. Unfortunately, we cannot repeat on the air because it's a very vulgar league.
Man.
But it's competitive, and, we got to pay our dues, too. So you didn't even, we live here in the same city. You didn't even take me out to lunch. What you do with your winnings?
It was a lot of money, but it wasn't that much money. I had to cycle it all back into this year's because I had to double up so that I could win it back to back. I just had to see all through to the end 2 years straight.
There's not going to be a back to back.
We'll see.
There's not going to be a back to back. We cannot let that happen. As we stated, the Broncos and the Packers set to kick off in the preseason, so we'll kind of give you some updates on that. As a matter of fact, also second half of the show, we will get into the AFC West and the AFC East.
Talk about what they've got going on. The AFC East, the AFC West,
okay.
Yes, sir.
So, and then of course we're going to get into the other division there. We're going to get into the AFC. We're going to get into we're going to talk about the Broncos.
We're going to talk about the Broncos. It's AFC West, but we're gonna dabble on a couple other things, right?
Because look here, everyone knows Aaron Rodgers is one of the guys I like to pick on. So I might actually give him a little praise later on in the show because I just looking at that division, the AFC East, and how it changes. Yeah. And it will change if you got a healthy Aaron Rodgers this year.
And it's totally up for grabs. So
I was really shocked that we didn't see Josh Allen. I thought he was going to play. I think everyone else expected him to play. So, but he's Josh Allen, so we don't really have to worry about that. So I tell you what, we're going to wrap this first segment up. When we come back, we're going to get more into some of the Week 2 preseason action that took place this weekend. You're listening to the Mean Gene Show right here on ESPN 97.5.
You're listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
For the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back, folks. Once again, Mean Gene Show on a Sunday evening. Get used to it every Sunday evening throughout the NFL season, 7 p.m. Now, there might be a couple of days that we are not going to be here due to our obligations to the Dallas Cowboys Sunday night games, but that's fine. That's okay. I'll find something else to do with my time. I'll probably walk a dog or go to the mall or something. Anything except watch the – no, I'm not – okay, AJ, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I got to be nice. I'm here with Jacob Meadows, and Jacob, get used to seeing Jacob because Jacob is going to be here. He already said that you gonna make it home here. You feeling you. I don't know how you look on YouTube, but I'm sure somebody will let us know. Like, get that guy off the set. No, they'll let us know. We got some people that will let us know for sure. So, all right. Speaking of those Dallas Cowboys, okay, let's get into some of the action that took place yesterday. Because look, I get excited about the preseason for a lot of reasons because we're seeing live football action for the first time in months. But then again, as you get closer into the preseason, there's no more are there 4 games anymore. There's usually just 3 now. And, of course, now they're trying to even get rid of that if you let the commissioner go to an 18-game season there. But it's just a lot of things you want to look at. You want to look at depth charts. You want to look at, who's ready. They can only practice against each other so much. Yeah, you got to have some real contact.
That's why you see the joint practices and what have you. But even those seem to be fewer and farther in between than what they used to be. So the preseason really is your first look at team-on-team anything for the league now.
You said joint practices. I call them joint fights because usually that's what they turn out to be. Yeah, we saw some ugly ones there with the Giants early on in the year. But last night, the Dallas Cowboys and the Raiders played. No Dak Prescott, really not much of the starters there. But the Cowboys get the win 27-12. And the interesting thing there was, and AJ, I want to get your thoughts on what you saw. What did you like anything that you saw with that action last night?
For sure, the defense. I mean, I think one of the more sure things, even though Dan Quinn left, is going to be the defense. Because Mike Zimmer, he's been a head coach in Minnesota, so he knows what to do. And then, obviously, the Cowboys have some people that were injured last year is going to return. DeMarion Overshown, that's a key name to watch because he's going to be really good. And then they added some people. Everybody talks about how inept they were during the offseason, which they were. Trust me, I definitely think that. But, they had some more linebacker versatility, so they had a problem stopping the run the past few years, honestly, how they were currently constructed. So, I like just some of the pieces they've added defensively. Offensively, I think that's the biggest question mark because you still need to sign CD, which I think will end up happening. But Jerry, he's just so unconventional, always wants the headlines and things of that nature. But he'll get signed eventually. We don't know when that will be because – it could be like right before week 1, but we don't want that because that might risk a soft tissue injury.
What the hell are the fantasy football owners supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying.
You know we got a draft coming up here.
That's frustrating.
And somebody's going to draft CeeDee Lamb, but it won't be Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Probably won't be me.
Well, it's just risky right now.
Yeah, it is risky.
But I'm going to say this, and tell me if you guys agree here. Losing Dan Quinn to the Washington team, kind of scary. You don't like to see that kind of talent go to your division. But Zimmer is a guy that's familiar with the Cowboys because he was with the Cowboys once before, and I think that's a good replacement, and I think that was a pretty good hire by the Cowboys.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was one of their best moves that they've made recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fantastic NFL coach.
Yeah.
It feels like the Cowboys filled a need that was created more or less by their own organization. But
so you got 2 head coaches there with him and McCarthy, so you got some great minds there.
It's almost like having a backup head coach. If McCarthy needs anything, he could bang it off of Zimmer. And then, you have that groupthink mentality where you're able to kind of tackle obstacles that maybe McCarthy would have fumbled on previously. So it looks like it's going to be a good setup for Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. Now, look, I just want to skip to Brandon Aubrey and the 66-yard field goal that if it was the regular season, it would have tied Justin Tucker's NFL record. Now, say what you want about preseason. That was a 66-yard field goal.
This kid is phenomenal. He's one of the best players that Dallas has brought in years. He broke records last year as a rookie. He was a rookie last year, banging through 50-plus yard field goals like he was a cakewalk. Made the rest of the league almost look bad. He was better than 31 other starting kickers last season, Justin Tucker included. So how about Brandon Aubrey? That's the best thing that Dallas has going on, and it's not an insult. Because that kicking game for a while there, AJ, it was kind of shaky there. I think they fired a kicker in the middle of the damn game one time.
You remember the Tampa Bay game a couple years ago? Brett Maher, was missing all those extra points.
Yeah.
That was
so I think that this guy's definitely going to make the team. No doubt.
No
right?
question.
So let's look at this other situation because I know Cowboy fans want to, the Dak Prescott situation is going to get done. I think everyone knows that. I think the CeeDee Lamb thing, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But when you have a number 3 overall draft pick on your team as your number 3 quarterback, and I'm talking about Trey Lance, this guy, not bad, 15 to 23 passes for 151 yards, played the last 3 quarters basically, I think, right? And, I mean, I think we're starting to see, I think he's getting comfortable. And the one thing that Mike McCarthy said is that we got to have him on the field.
Yeah,
got to have him on the field.
He needs the game experience.
Yeah.
He didn't get that in San Francisco. He had all the injuries and whatnot, and now he's actually getting a chance to play on the field, get real reps, not against his own defense, and it does seem like he's blossoming into his own. And we might get to see the Trey Lance that Kyle Shanahan drafted, right? Like, we'll see the guy with the running prowess and the deep arm and the ability to create plays. We might actually get to see that out of Trey Lance now that Dallas is really giving him a shot. It's been interesting.
So, and you know, contracts seems to be the big, talking point there in the Dallas area. And according to an article that was written by my great friend Calvin Watkins up there at the Dallas Morning News, so the Cowboys are offering star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb a contract worth slightly under $33 million. I believe Justin Jefferson is making about $35, but I think even at $33 million, this would make CeeDee Lamb the second highest paid receiver in the league. So has he accepted it?
No, he hasn't accepted it. It does seem like contract talks are getting better. It's not a hostile environment anymore. And, after the Amari Cooper situation years ago, Dallas should be invigorated to get this deal done. But it looks like CeeDee's going to end up signing. I do think he ends up in Dallas, whether it's a tag and trade, right? Whether they bring him back just to flip him elsewhere or if they actually bring him on long term like they should. It seems that this might be coming to a close here more quickly than not. But he has not agreed to the lick under $33 million. I think he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league, and I don't know what Dallas is going to do.
So this $33 million would put him just a little bit above what A.J. Brown got.
A.J. Brown with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Which is, and we talked about this on the way riding over here, is that I think he's better than A.J. Brown.
Agreed. Yeah. It not leaps and bounds in a bad way, but leaps and bounds. I mean, CeeDee's the complete package. He's a terrific route runner. He's got great hands. He can high point the ball. He's fast as lightning. Like he's a terrific receiver. He's an amazing athlete. So I mean, he deserves to get his bag. It's just Dallas is strapped with cash to a point, especially with the Dak contract looming, especially with the Micah Parsons contract looming. So it creates an interesting issue similar to the Amari Cooper one years ago, where it's how do you pay him what he wants while also filling the other cups available that need to be filled.
And that's the problem that the Cowboys should have handled. They should have saw that coming, right? AJ, I mean, look here. He's going to get his money, but you also got to pay you got to pay Dak. And quarterbacks are going for in the 55-ish, 60 million range
so
now.
Much money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they let a lot of things linger. I mean, even when that got signed in 2021, we saw that, that contract extension, some of the controversy behind that. I mean, he ended up getting signed in March. That was way earlier, but there was still talk then. So I mean, I don't know. It's just so unconventional. I think Micah, he'll get signed more quicker next year though, because I mean, people regard him as the best player.
You
got
to take care of your defense. So it's just kind of tough. I don't know. I mean, these decisions can cost you your division or games. For the most part, so season, right? So all right, Stephon Gilmore used to play with the Cowboys, free agent. Finally got picked up by the Minnesota Vikings, $10 million 1-year deal, which he goes to a team that's probably not going anywhere. So this is all about him, I suppose.
I would have to hope that it's about the money because he signed after J.J. McCarthy's out for the season. You don't know who's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson.
Right.
So it looks like this might be Stephon's final resting place in the NFL. Maybe we see him turn it up or turn it in. Maybe we see him retire after this season.
I mean, just keep getting those game checks. They get paid every Tuesday, I think, something like that. So, you can do the math, $10 million over 1 year. That's
a pretty good payday.
Those are some nice paydays.
Good year, even after taxes.
Even if it's just 1 year. So that was some of the breaking news. And also, look here, I tell you what, and we're going to talk about the AFC West here a little bit later in the show, but Patrick Mahomes does it again. When you're out there doing behind-the-back passes on the football field and just totally disrespecting the Detroit Lions. And whatever, you can't believe what Kelsey says, you can't believe what Mahomes says, but that was pretty incredible.
It was dope. I love to see it. I'm so tired of the Chiefs finding new ways to be better than everybody else, right? So it's like the Tom Brady Patriots. Like I'm so tired of it. But gosh, everything they do, that behind the pack pass to Travis Kelce, Travis didn't even run the correct route on the play.
Yeah,
like
it just looked like some playground.
Yeah, he improvised,
stuff. Yeah.
and Pat just behind the backs it to him like it's no big deal. Nobody else can do that.
No.
It's ridiculous.
But, now try that mess in the regular season. I don't know.
If anybody could do it, it would be Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, though.
It was basketball-ish.
It's backyard football. It's not real. Like, it's crazy what he can do with the ball in his hands.
Chiefs lose the game by 1 point, 24-23. Not that it really matters. I think the big story out of that is the behind-the-back pass there. So let's talk about my Steelers here because for some reason the Pittsburgh Steelers offense seems to be sputtering a little bit in 2 weeks of games there. Nothing exciting. The Texans were able to handle them regardless of who the Texans had on the field. Although Russell Wilson came out yesterday and looked like Russell Wilson should probably
retire,
something like that. And, and then you get Justin Fields. I think, I have said all along, and I'm going to continue to say it, I think Justin Fields is going to ultimately end up being the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Might be sooner than later.
Originally I thought we were going to have to wait a while, but Justin Fields looks crisp in the preseason, man. And this is not the Russell Wilson that we have grown up seeing since he made the league, right? Like he looks like he might have lost that burning passion for football.
I think so. And you know what? We're going to follow up on that coming here at the bottom of the hour. So, folks, hey, look here, stick with us because we're going to get into our AFC East and West predictions here. You're listening to The Mean Gene Show right here on 97.5 ESPN Houston.
This is The Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back here, bottom of the first hour here, Mean Gene and Jacob Meadows here on The Mean Gene Show, talking AFC East. But before we get into the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets, I talked about Caleb Williams last week a little bit because I have a lot of family in Chicago.
Sure.
And they called me up. I got some nephews that live there, and they like, what do you think about Caleb Williams? Okay. And, I gave my thoughts on him, especially being a USC quarterback, and I'm a USC guy. But I have to give him his props, man. He looked good in the first preseason game. He didn't play in the Hall of Fame game. But the official week 1 preseason, he looked good, and he looked even better yesterday.
He looks so the biggest takeaway, right, because it's preseason, is he doesn't look scared. That was my big worry for him because there were some big games at USC that he kind of looked like he mentally fell apart a little bit, but he seems to be handling the speed of the NFL very well. It looks good for him so far, so he deserves all of his roses early on. He looks like he's going to be as advertised for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and not like I said, not that the preseason really matters, but the Bears are putting up some pretty good points.
Yeah, they're scoring, but something that they couldn't do the last couple of years at all. They're doing
regardless
well right
of
now.
Who the quarterback is out there, because the Badgett actually played last year in relief on the field. So I think hey, look, if Hard Knocks is fun, I'm enjoying Hard Knocks because look, it gives you a little bit of insight on what goes on, and where it really gets interesting, Jacob, is when they make those cuts. Now, I've actually had the pleasure of attending a Bears training camp in Bourbonnais.
Really?
Illinois.
Okay.
So I went, this is when Peanut Tillman was still on that team. That's when they had a really solid team there. But no, the training camp is fun. So what I'm seeing that's taking place on Hard Knocks, I've actually seen in person with that Bears team. So this is good because Caleb Williams seems to be, a lot of people, the expectations are for him to duplicate what C.J. Stroud did. And that's just not easy to do.
It's not easy, but nobody's given their quarterback a better opportunity to do that than the Chicago Bears have with Caleb Williams. I mean, that offense is absolutely stacked. Their defense was surprisingly good in games last year. I mean, they have a lot of talent. So it is Caleb Williams' team to lose with, because he has no excuse. I mean, outside of being a rookie, right? But you were prolific at UFC. You were one of the most touted quarterbacks coming into the draft in years and years and years. So moving into an offense with all of this firepower, it should be plug and play, more or less, if you think about it.
Okay. All right. You ready to talk some AFC East?
Let's talk some AFC East.
All right. So we got the Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, and Bills. You saw the Bills take on the Steelers, and, you know, I want to start with the Bills because we didn't see Josh Allen last night, but I'm worried about the Bills offense in the sense that you let two of your starting wide receivers walk away.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs is down here with us in Houston, and Gabe Davis. I forgot where he went, but but those are two good wide receivers.
They were their two best wide receivers.
Yes, so.
Correct. I think there's cause for concern, but I tell you what, rookie Keon Coleman looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you have Khalil Shakur, who had all of those crazy catches at the end of last season for the Bills. He's coming in as wide receiver 2 right now. And honestly, they haven't looked terrible. It looks like they've been working out their run game early in the preseason, I guess trying to figure out who's going to do what for their run game. But, I think replacing Stephon Diggs, who was a prime target, Josh Allen had to feed him the ball, or there would be possibly issues within the organization. I think freeing them from the binds of that may make their offense better than what it was last season.
Well, here's what they're up against, okay? So they've won the division for the last 4 seasons, right, I think. Now, but they've lost 3 straight divisional playoff games, 2 to the Chiefs, okay, 1 to the Bengals. So you still got to work your way out of that AFC. And then they did make the AFC championship game in 2020, but who did they lose to? The Chiefs.
Yep.
So I don't know how it makes them better now losing. I understand the rookie's going to be okay, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah, better against their division, right? Like, that might be all it is. Like, they're going to be better against normal opponents, not necessarily the upper echelon.
Mr. Rogers is back in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wait and see how long Mr. Rogers hangs out in the neighborhood before I talk about that.
But just when you think things are going to get easier or should be easier for the Bills, and I always talk about this, and me and Dustin Pfeiffer on the Sports King show, we talk about that window of opportunity. You get rid of 2 starters, that window's got to be closed. If Aaron Rodgers wasn't coming back, maybe, but you still got Tua who's out there who is looking to do something. You got Rodgers, and the Patriots are the Patriots. Yeah, they're going to be last place in that division, but it's going to be interesting. And when we look at the Jets here. Rodgers returns. The Jets haven't won that division since 2002. And believe it or not, they had a 9-7 record then.
It was a down year for the division.
Whole division, because, that was before all of the craziness happened when New England started to just run away with things. I don't know. And then, we look at the Dolphins here. They haven't won the division since 2008, but, they've lost the last 2 wild card games. And those were to who?
The Bills.
Bills and Chiefs.
Yep.
So it just, if it ain't the Bills getting in the way, it's the Chiefs. And we ain't even talked about the Chiefs. We're going to talk about them in the next hour. But, I don't know. Looking at this division, which I know we're going to have to pretty soon kind of pick, who we think is going to win this division. But let's just spend a little bit more time on the Jets here because you get Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be able to hook up with
Garrett
Wilson, which is, you got Breece Hall, who is probably going to be a top fantasy pick.
Dog. He's so good. Yeah.
So, so you got some good combinations there. Now, I know the situation with is it Hassan
Reddick? Yeah.
Yeah, now that right there, and you can kind of see that Aaron Rodgers is not happy.
Yeah, he came to Joe Douglas and everybody's side. He called Hassan Reddick and tried to convince him to run it back with him. How do you request a trade before you play a single snap for a team that traded for you?
Well, it's making the Jets look pretty bad.
It is. It looks.
I wish they were on Hard Knocks again this year, so we could
that would
really
be an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, I wish they were because I mean, you bring this guy in, but didn't the Jets have an obligation to kind of get? They knew he wanted.
They knew he wanted money. That was the whole reason he got traded out of Philadelphia.
So
what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, get on the
horn. How you let it get to this point?
It never should have devolved into this point.
You have
the young man
opportunity to win this division. I'm serious.
This was the best year that they've had since 2002. The best opportunity.
So I don't know. I mean, we're going to keep our eye on this situation. Getting Rodgers back is first things first.
He's got to be healthy.
He's got to be healthy. You got the running back. You got his slew of receivers. But I'm looking forward to it. Despite the rift between him and Garrett Wilson in the training camp, those things are going to happen. I think Rodgers realized, okay, hey, these guys are young. This is
I mean, Rodgers,
they come with a lot of attitude.
He started in the league probably the year Garrett Wilson was born.
Right.
There's a generational gap there that has to be overcome.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. But and look, if you're a Patriots fan, hey, you've had your heydays. Your days are over. You won 11 straight division titles. During the Belichick Brady era from 2009 to 2019. It's just over. Drake May, you could put Ellie May, you could put anybody back there. It's not going to matter.
The rest of the league deserves some time away from the Patriots being so good that they run the gauntlet on whoever.
I feel bad
play.
for Mayo.
I do.
Even though he was the coach in waiting.
Yeah.
But this team is not going to be good at all.
I do like that, just as a side thing, Joe Milton's been beloved by the fans since the preseason started. Joe Milton's looked pretty good, albeit against backups. But the Patriots do have two really young quarterbacks on their roster that could potentially give a run for the money as a future starter for a significant period of time.
AJ, what are the chances of the Patriots winning this division?
What, this year?
Yeah. That's a real question.
I'll put 1%.
1%.
1%.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, but the Dolphins. Now this team, like I said, they've lost the last two wild card games, so their window of opportunity, what gives them a chance is Tyreek Hill.
Correct.
And Tua, we saw some great stuff yesterday. Man, he hit a pass yesterday to, I can't remember the receiver's name. Looked like a back shoulder throw into the end zone.
River Craycraft,
yeah,
wasn't it?
That looked pretty damn good. So that team, and even last year in that wild card game, it was a winnable game.
It was a winnable game, but they had a collapse there at the end of the year because of injuries. They had too many defensive injuries that they could not overcome. Yeah.
Ever since they had came back from that overseas trip, just seemed like because they could have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they should have beat the Chiefs.
They got real close. It was a good game.
Yeah,
but London screwed them up pretty good. It's like they never were able to get that balance back.
Injuries got them. So in the next segment, we're gonna pick my 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, where you leaning at with this division?
Shout out my roommate Joey McGinnis, because I gotta go with the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins in this division.
The Dolphins, you think they could win the division?
I do think they can win the division. I think the offense is too talented. I think having Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert at running back, again running it back, I think they were terrific. They're so good. I think having Jalen Waddle really blossoming the way that he did last year. Tyreek Hill missed a lot of he missed time last season.
Yeah, he did.
The offense didn't sputter at all.
And even in that wild card game, he just wasn't.
Correct. And Jalen Waddle was a very easy 1-for-1 for him. So I like what the offense has done. I like what Mike McDaniels has done. They have the new defensive coordinator. It really looks like that defense might start to click. They have everybody coming back off of injury. I think Miami might be the team to watch.
Mostert out, Achane, who just came out of nowhere, and Dustin Pfeiffer picked him up. And
I remember that. Yeah,
that's when he was running. I think Achane had 2 or 3 games where he was killing.
It was like 4 touchdowns, and 200 yards every week. Man,
he was. He was
Pretty
killing
sure
everybody.
one of my few losses came during that stretch to Dustin because of him.
But when Achane went down, so did Dustin.
Yeah,
Dustin
that was the end of Dustin. It was a bittersweet moment for everyone.
Hey, Dustin, I'm sorry, man. I know we're killing you because in the next hour, baby, we're gonna get you again.
Oh,
I got Dennis Sharman. We got a couple of guys. I cannot wait. We are so excited about this draft. But look here, back to the Dolphins. I don't know. I'll tell you in the next segment where I'm going to put these guys. I think we all agree that the Patriots are going to finish last.
You got to slot them at 4.
There's just no hope at all. How many games do they win?
4 to 6, and I'm going to be generous with that. It's 4 to 6. It's a learning year. That's all they're going to. I mean, they could do more. There could be some crazy person out there put a couple $100 on it to win.
4 and 13.
Yeah, give or take.
Is that AJ? You agree?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 or 6, something like that.
4, 5, or 6.
Yeah,
it's a safe number because you don't know what they're going to do. They have no offensive talent in the skill positions. They did bring back Ramondre Stevenson. He is a terrific running back,
good running back. Yeah,
but I don't think it matters. Their offensive
and I'm glad
line
you
was
said that because you always pick the best player on the worst team in fantasy football.
That is very
we'll
correct.
Talk about that. Hey, all right,
Garbage
folks.
time.
We are going to wrap this up. We come back. We got the last segment here in the first hour. You're listening to the Mean Gene Show with Jacob Meadows and Mean Gene right here on ESPN 97.5.
You're listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
For the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back here. About to wrap the first hour up. You're listening to the Mean Gene Show. ESPN 97.5. Got my main man, Jacob Meadows here. Jacob is our 2023 Sports Kings Fantasy Football winner. Jacob is also the host of the sports podcast called Coach's Quarters. You can
Coach's Quarters.
Where can they listen to you at?
You can find me on any platform that you can listen to podcasts on. I am on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. I am on Amazon Music, Apple Music. Anywhere that you can find any sort of sports talk shows, you can find the Coach's Quarters.
I've been a guest on that show.
You sure have. It was one of my favorite shows.
Had a great time on there, and so check that out, folks. So, all right, we're talking AFC East. I think. Did you give your order?
So I didn't give my order. I just said that I was.
Order. We both agreed that the New England Patriots
were going to be on the bottom,
last place, and I think AJ, you both guys agreed 4, 5, 6 wins, maybe.
Unequivocally, yeah.
Man, I have to agree with you guys. Good Lord, I hate to see them go 3 and 14, but God, that would be god awful for Jared Mayo for his first, coaching. Yeah, I want to give him at least 6.
That's got to be what they know going into it, though. I mean, this is the first regime change that they've had almost since I was born. So it's one of there's going to be hiccups, right? You bring Gerard Mayo in.
No. Bob Kraft wants them to win this year because if they don't, he loses his privileges at that massage parlor down in Florida. They got to win 6.
He's got to win 6. Yeah,
6 get you. Give you that lifetime membership.
They're going to be deflating footballs all year long, trying to eke that 7th win out, man.
Got to get that. Okay, but no, I agree. So Jacob, go ahead and give me your order 1, 2, 3. What you have in that the AFC East?
1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to have to slot in the Dolphins. I like Miami at 1. I like Miami at 1 a lot. I think that they're going to win the division. Right behind them, it's a toss-up. I like the Bills, but if Aaron Rodgers returns to Packers Aaron Rodgers form, I like the Jets at 2. It's just I don't because he only played 4 plays last season, right? I have no idea what they're going to do. But so I'm going to have to give you Miami, and then Buffalo, and then the Jets, and then the Patriots to round out the.
So you got Miami first.
I do. Yes.
You got the Dolphins first. You got Jets.
Bills. I'm going to take the Bills because I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
So Miami, Bills, Jets, Patriots. Okay. Woo. All right. Well, look, because I got the Bills first, and I'm shocked that I do because even though talking about that window of opportunity, knowing that they got rid of 2 starting wide receivers.
Good starting wide receivers.
And I know the rookie has a lot of expectations. I love watching him at Florida State. The guy was killing it down there, but it's still a rookie.
You're a rookie in a man's league.
In a man's league, and Josh Allen is going to put that ball right between the numbers. So you better be ready to step up. And it's a big shoes to fill with Diggs and Davis, but they still got Shakur.
They have Khalil Shakur,
who was really good, man.
He turned it
playing
up at
the
the
slot,
end of last
right?
season. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, he really did. So I mean, I'm okay, but it's just that they are probably the most experienced, having won that division for the last four times, even though they can't get past the divisional
Chiefs
playoffs.
And Bengals in the playoffs.
So I don't know that we won't talk about that part, but I do have them going for their 5th, straight division.
And just to bang off of that, they've handled more adversity than most teams in the 32-team league, right? Here the last couple of years, all the injuries, all the ups and downs, Brian Daboll leaving. Mm-hmm. So they've handled adversity. So if anybody could overcome the deficits that they have, it's going to be the
Bills.
And
it's a critical year for Sean McDermott because this is the year. Look what I just gave you the resume. They won the division the last 4 years, but they've been kicked out of the playoffs for the divisional playoffs. 2 by the Chiefs, 1 by the Bengals. Sean McDermott's last year. They don't get it done.
You could see that hot seat get real hot.
You see it coming. Josh Allen will be playing for another coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, that's just the way it works.
Hopefully that we don't see a total collapse of them. Probably they could try to market Josh Allen should they make a full-on regime change. Do I think it happens? No, but the possibility's always there.
So I'm going to go with the Bills as my number 1 team to win that division. The Jets.
Woo!
I have
risky
the Jets.
No
Jets. I have the Jets finishing 2nd place in that division, and I have to say that is due to that defense that they have. Understanding the Hassan Reddick situation, but still, they still got great players.
Got a good defense, yeah.
Yeah, I met Sauce Gardner when he got drafted in Vegas. I was there for his press conference. So that defense was good last year, even though the offense stunk it up. But Aaron Rodgers coming back on the field makes a difference. Breece Hall at running back makes a difference. So they know last year was a missed opportunity. I think they get it. I think they finish 2nd, which hopefully is good enough for a wild card.
Spot.
Yeah. My 3rd team, and I struggled too because I almost put the Dolphins in 2nd, but I got the Dolphins there. I don't know. I mean I just think that I'm looking at the most experienced quarterback in that division, which is Aaron Rodgers, and you still and Josh Allen. So Tua is not there yet.
No, he's
for
not.
me to give him. So that's why I got the Dolphins 3rd, and of course I got the Patriots in 4th place. But I think that's how it's going to be.
That makes sense. I mean, I just think that Tua's got more. He's got the best weapons, easily, far and away in the East. He has the best offensive weapons. So if they can put together,
text me, they probably disagree with me. I don't care. All right, I'm trying to do a damn show. All right, somebody disagrees with me. I'm sure.
Sure,
probably somebody in our fantasy league.
I could only assume multiple people in our fantasy league.
When are you guys going to stop talking that crap and get to the fantasy football? Next hour, okay. Games being played tonight. We got some updates here. I think the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Broncos a little bit later, but that score, 10-0?
Yes,
Bo
sir.
Nix.
Bo Nix out of Oregon, man. Went to college for 30 years. He was at Auburn with Cam Newton, if you ask the people, man. But Bo Nix looks pretty good, man.
30 years? Oh, my goodness.
If you round.
Yeah. Look here, 8 of 9, 80 yards, a touchdown pass to Tim Patrick.
Somebody coming last year, little experience.
That? Yeah. Cortland Sutton has 1 reception for 28 yards, so he's like
he's in the game. Yeah, Cortland Sutton, he's going to get targeted less in the preseason anyway, so it's good to see Tim Patrick catching balls.
Yeah, so interesting, but Bo Nix looked like he's probably going to end up getting. He's going to be the starter.
He might get that starting nod. Yeah, that'll be really cool too. Going from Oregon,
and we have another game also, and that game is the Saints and the 49ers. Saints winning that game 7-3. 1-0, and I haven't really followed the Saints a lot this year to kind of know what the expectations are. You know, you got
it's always to win, right?
Kamara, who's been there, it seemed like for 20 years. I don't know. Carr's playing.
That's going to be an enigma team, is just because you don't know their cap space is pretty up and down, right? They don't have any money, so they couldn't really go in on.
I give you a guess. It's 7-0, right? Mm-hmm. So you got Carr's playing. Who do you think got the touchdown in that game?
Oh man, I have no idea. I don't.
Taysom Hill.
Of course, right?
Who else?
The Switchblade.
Yeah.
He's one of the most fun players that's played the league
that
in a
never
while.
gets drafted in fantasy football. Never.
They had that one year where they screwed it up, and they had him getting quarterback points as a tight end. You could slot him as a tight end. He was putting up 30 points a week. Yeah,
it's risky.
You never know.
You add him as you need him.
Yeah. He's a waiver wire pickup.
You think somebody in the next hour going to draft Taysom?
No shot. You know what? They might. In our league, they might.
Danny Sharma might.
You know what? If I had to choose one out of a bag, I think Danny Sharma might.
All right, so those are the games that are currently going on right now, and we're sitting here watching the Packers and the Broncos here. So it's going to be interesting for the Packers coming up this year, knowing what they did last year. Man, I tell you, the league, this is why they call it the NFL, not for long. To try to come back and reduplicate what you did the previous year, you know, I cannot wait to see what teams go from first to worst and all that stuff. But worst to first and the first to worst. So anyway, all right, we're going to wrap up this hour here, folks. We're coming back for hour number 2. You listen to the Mean Gene Show with Mean Gene and Jacob Meadow right here on ESPN 97.5.
As a business owner, you're faced with a lot of tough decisions. Deciding whether or not to get workers' compensation insurance shouldn't be one of them. At Texas Mutual, we work hard to make that decision easy. We take care of your employees if they get hurt on the job and offer an industry-leading dividend program so you have the opportunity to get money back. With rates at their lowest in over a decade, now's the time to get workers' comp with Texas Mutual. Learn more at texasmutual.com/rewards. Dividends are based on performance, are not guaranteed, and must comply with Texas Department of Insurance regulations.
En Houston Methodist te invitamos a liderar con nosotros. Somos 30,000 profesionales que vivimos cada día nuestros valores. Aquí, lo primero son las personas. Nuestros pacientes, nuestras familias y cada uno de nosotros. Creemos en trabajar juntos, el respeto por cada persona y apoyamos el crecimiento en cada rol. Ven a liderar con nosotros. Houston Methodist, líderes en medicina. Aplica en houstonmethodist.org. En Houston Methodist trabajamos juntos por nuestros pacientes, respetamos cada voz y apoyamos el crecimiento en cada rol. Ven a liderar con nosotros. Somos Houston Methodist, líderes en medicina. Aplica en houstonmethodist.org.